Hello everyone. Welcome to another stream. How's it going? Almost Eid, almost Eid for everyone. And I think, at least I'm not really sure, maybe in Saudi Arabia it's already Eid now. So, Eid Mubarak to everyone who is observing Eid tomorrow, inshallah. Hope everyone is doing good. Let's see if the titles were done correctly. Yeah, it seems like it. How's everyone doing? I'm going to zoom in a bit. How are you? How are you? How's everyone doing? Mm-hmm. What? Okay, this is so stupid. I was working on something, and it was not working before. I'm gonna try to do a hard refresh. Sir, part two कब आएगा था साद अफजल साद I'm working on the part two, to be honest. Let me show you. I was working on the video before, so this is the video, and I've already worked on like how it should look, what are the changes, etc. The only thing that I'm missing right now is essentially the part where I have to deploy the application. So it should be soon. Hopefully, inshallah, it should be soon. Hey, Kamil, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, Kamil and Saad. How's everyone doing? How are you? How are you doing? So the whole purpose I wanted to do this stream was essentially to make this work, where I'm deploying the front end to Cloudways, and it should work. And it was not working before, so I was trying it before iftar today, and it was not working for the life of me. And now when I come here, I just refresh, everything works. So this is okay. That's why they say that you do need to take sometimes a break. Homer says, I'm 33, a CS grad, but forgotten everything. Can I start a career now in my own field? What is the own field? What is it? I mean, okay, so you mean CSS? Oh, not CSS, but CS. So you are 33. Okay, so you're almost my age. You did your graduation, and now you want to start your career. You can actually. There's no time limit to it. I know people personally who have studied different things like electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and they've done even their masters in that. And then even after working for a while, they switch their jobs. So there's no age limit on when you can start becoming a programmer, because it's a skill, right? You can learn to play football, you can learn to play table tennis, you can learn how to do carpenting, you can learn to do welding, for example. So it's a skill set. You don't really need to be a certain age for programming, in my personal opinion. You can start as early as you want, and you can also learn a lot of things in your late 40s, late 50s even. So it doesn't really matter. The key is that you keep yourself consistent. You make sure that you have the right expectations based on your skill set as well. You start searching for jobs when you feel a bit more confident that you have a good portfolio and you're going to be able to land a job, etc. So if you want to learn more about what what you can do with your career, or if you want specific steps to follow, I would say you can book a session with me. And if you go to topmade.io slash, I think it's SNIRs, if I remember correctly. I'm going to share the link in the chat, by the way. So you can essentially book a session from here. Extra 5% off for you will be applied to on checkout. I don't know what that means, but I see a discount. I click apply. Anyways, so here you can essentially book a one-to-one mentorship or a resume review or interview preps and tips, whatever. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this and share this. Okay, so this is 5% off for you folks who are going to apply. Good. So book a session and prepare your questions beforehand. Look into your or bring your CV, bring your ideas, what you want to work on, which field do you think is interesting? Is it front end? Is it web development, mobile apps development, and then we can take it from there. And if you don't want to do this, you don't want to book it, just send me a message on LinkedIn, and I usually reply in like yeah, I don't know, 40, not 40, but within 24 hours, most of the times. I'm gonna bring my window back. Where did you go? Be like this. Okay. Caesar Cruz, how's it going, Caesar? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? Kamil says, "What do you think about current job market for developers around around JavaScript?" I think the market is still the same. I don't think it's changing. Apart from the fact that we have the vibe coding, so to say, nowadays, which is impacting it in general, the web development in general. But I think it still doesn't really negate the need for web developers in general or programmers. So I won't say, I would say not to focus on. Let me tell this in like a bigger screen so we can address the concern. I think a lot of people would have this. So, what do you think about current job market for developers around JavaScript? So, JavaScript is a tool. You don't really want to focus too much on the tool. You want to focus on being able to solve problems using programming. And for that, you can use JavaScript, you can use Go, Python, whatever language you're choosing. So don't get stuck to a particular language or framework, is going to be my advice. I've been working for more than 11 years in the software industry now. I've worked with Angular, I've worked with React, React Native, Ionic, Python, Java to some extent, PHP to some extent, even though I don't really like it as much. I've worked with Flutter, I've worked with iOS Swift as well. So those are the things that I've worked on, and I in no place in my career I was like, no, I'm not going to work on this particular thing, because that's not what a software developer is. A software developer is supposed to work and develop software, and if you're working for a company which is paying you monthly or hourly, whatever that is, that means that they are expecting you to deliver value to them, and that doesn't really mean that you're only going to do it with the language of your choice. So nobody, when they become a senior software developer, and go and ask anybody on LinkedIn, anybody on a in a networking sort of conference or something, or meetup, nobody is going to say that they're a technology specialist. They're going to identify themselves as a software developer or a software engineer, so to say. Even now people identify as potato, or I don't know what whatever. But regardless, I would say nobody claims today, at least per my knowledge, any senior software developer that says that I'm a language specialist, or I'm only going to work on this, or I'm only going to find jobs related to this particular area. It is good if you are a specialist in one of the fields, but you should not stop yourself from exploring other ideas. That's what I usually recommend. So become an expert in one of the things that has the job in the market that you're looking for. For example, if your country has jobs, or if your city has jobs for Angular, you go with Angular. If you can find easier jobs with React, you go with that, and you focus on becoming a software developer, building applications, solving problems, and whatnot. So I hope that answers the question. Muhammad Ibrahim, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah, from Facebook and then from YouTube as well. I imagine you came to YouTube because I didn't respond in time. Is that what happened, Ibrahim? Well, the problem I wanted to solve is actually solved. And that is working with this. So the app seems to be working fine to me. Now, the only thing that I have to do is to figure out uh, is to figure out why it was not working before, or if it's going to continue working again, because that's a tricky one. So if you look at the responses here, all of the response actually contains the items from the backend, like silent exercise wheel for hamsters, the price here, add to cart. So all of this is being server side rendered. And I think those of you who are following this tutorial on YouTube, you already know what I mean. So if I search the same thing here, like add to cart, you can see we have so many buttons that highlight add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. So all of this is coming from the backend. But I now just need to finalize this because I made a bunch of changes in the source code. We can actually look into it. I don't want to create multiple branches on this particular repository, because then everyone would probably start following it. You can see this repository already has like 3 stars. So that means people actually may be watching this as well. So, well, maybe let's try to have a quick look at what changes. Kamil says, thank you very much. No problem at all, Kamil. Kamil, what do you work as? Or what's your role at the moment? Alaikum assalam, Muhammad Yusuf. How's it going? So let's create a pull request from checkpoint 1 final to checkpoint 1. I want to see what I changed. And I'm going to expand it as well. Oh, my PC is really slow. I wonder why. It's really slow. Is it because of Git? Because of GitHub? That would be sad. Anyways, so let's have a look. Oh, it's because of GitHub, because we have so much data to show here. I think that's why. But we are comparing against main, or no, so it's 8 commits only. Okay, makes sense. So it should, no, it should not be against checkpoint 1. It should be against checkpoint 2 then. That's why. Let's see. This is more like it. We have lesser changes. So we added this guy. We added the global prefix. We added this thing. We added the file replacements. This is important. And then what actually made it work, actually, those of you who know Angular or how Angular works, what actually worked was this. I'm not really sure even why it has to be like this. I think it could work without this particular line, because at the end I had to check if the platform that the app is running on, if it's a backend or server, then we change the the URL to this, which is specifically for our deployment. I don't really like specific Angular or a specific code for, explicit cases. Muhammad Yusuf says, please send by make a playlist for Angular latest version. I'm waiting for you. Have you looked into the Angular crash course video? Yusuf. If you have not looked into it, I can share it quickly. So we have this guy right here. Oh, that's the wrong link. Copy shareable link. There we go. So I've shared that in the chat now. You should be able to see it right here. And that is essentially this, if I can show it. So this one, the Angular, master Angular in 90 minutes. A lot of people actually like it quite a lot. So you can start looking into this. Oi. This one. We've gotten, I think we almost are crossing 200,000 videos. So 200,000 views. So about 2 lakh views on this one. And we have like more than 4.4 thousand likes on this one. So that shows actually that the people are finding this interesting, as you can see the graph right here as well. So look into this, and then you can also look into the playlist, which it has been. So if I look at the playlist, or if you directly go to the channel as well, you should be able to see the playlist right here. And you would also be able to see Angular. Where is Angular? Here. So Angular tutorials. Give me 1 second to play. Stop it. So we have this one. We have Angular signals. We have content projection in Angular. This is also around Angular 19 as well. NGRX signal store. I think this is Angular 18, but it's quite similar to Angular 19 to be honest. Signals, quite close. Reactive chat app UI with Angular signals. This is also pretty close as well. NGRX signals to HTTP calls. I think this one is pretty close to Angular 19 as well. So a lot of these are actually pretty new. Then we have a lot of old videos as well, but I think these are all new new videos. So you can look into these for sure. I think I should change the name of this, to be honest. Let's go with building a chat app with Angular signals. I would name it like this. Ibrahim says, Bhai, how to make better understanding in JavaScript? By practicing. You practice a lot. You create a lot of applications, you create a lot of projects, build small but useful projects like, I don't know, Celsius to Fahrenheit calculator. You can also create things like, weather application. You can create an application that shows multiple clocks based on multiple time zones. You can have a US based clock, Pakistan, China, all of these different regions or countries, and you can essentially show different clocks. You should allow users to add their own custom versions of the clocks, stuff like that. When you create a lot of applications, that's what basically teaches you quite a lot of things. So that's what I do. I just create a lot of applications. Okay, I'm gonna save this. Ibrahim says, like, it's a little bit hard to learn. Do you mean JavaScript? I think JavaScript is fairly easy compared to other languages out there. For example, if you compare it with C# or I don't know, Rust or I don't know. So Python is really easy to learn. JavaScript, I think, is also quite easy to learn as well. So I would say it's not hard, but everything that you start learning for the first time, that's usually hard. So you cannot expect that you start learning JavaScript and then everything is super clear. You're working on different things and everything is super smooth for the first time. So when you start implementing with JavaScript, you're going to struggle, you're going to find some issues, you're going to read more documentation, you're going to solve those issues by reading documentation, going to Stack Overflow, asking ChatGPT, Claude, whatever. But that's a part of learning, and that's what's called experience. You get into problems and then you solve them. That's experience. So is it too difficult to learn? I don't think so. JavaScript is fairly easy. By the way, for those of you watching, make sure to give the video a like if you haven't already. And if you're on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel as well. A lot of people just watch the tutorials and don't subscribe. Okay, so I think, to be honest, I think it seems to be working for me. So I want to try out. I think I can actually continue with working on the tutorial itself. Did we remove incremental hydration at the end? Oh, I did at the end. Okay. Makes sense. All of this was from today, right? Yes. Okay, I'm going to change the branch name and I'm going to push this as well. What games do you play? I used to play games before, but I don't get any time now. I used to play Call of Duty. I used to play Apex Legends as well. Apex Legends or Counter Strike at some point as well. I used to play Dota quite a lot, Dota 2. But now I don't get time of so many pending things. So I don't at the moment. Let's change the branch name. So we're gonna say git checkout or git branch -m. I'm gonna change this to checkpoint one final backup. Git push. Git push u origin checkpoint one final backup. Which games do you play, Ibrahim? Let's see if we got a branch now. Okay, so we got the branch now. Good. Now I'm thinking I might actually stop the stream in a while and actually go and record the video itself because it seems to be working. And the only thing that I was missing was this not working. So I think I figured it out on what we need to do in order to make this work. I'm still a bit skeptical because it should have worked in the first turn, but it did not. And that's not good. But it works now, at least. One of the things that we also want to change, maybe let's try that and then we'll wrap up the stream. So one of the things that I also want to check is where's the my terminal. So one of the things that I also want to check or change is an environment variable, which we need to do. So let's say you go to apps, pet market, BE. We should have the ANV file here. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna change to this so I can see the environment variable. Okay. I think we need to, because the application right now reroutes back to localhost 4200. It should rather not do that. It should redirect to the production URL. So we're gonna fix that. Wait. Copy. Paste. There we go. Wait. Okay. I pasted the wrong URL. Okay, so we do exit, save, env file. There we go. Now I can go back. I don't know. Can we customize this to look a bit nicer? I don't know. Radius. We do have radius. That doesn't seem nice. Hide chat overlay. If I do it like this, if I minimize this, the chat overlay can be hidden. Okay, interesting. Name on. We minimize this and then we commit. Okay, let's keep it like this. No worries. Ibrahim says Counter-Strike 1.6 CS2 mostly, but nowadays I can't play due to no time. Okay, that makes sense. It's quite the similar situation here. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to create a new build. So let's quickly do. We do npx nx build pet market pe. Ibrahim says learning languages is hard at first, so trying to understand those. Yeah, absolutely, it is. When I started the backend side first time, and I think this was in 2014. No, 2015. I think I already had like 2 or 3 years of front end experience, especially with Angular, so I could build front end Angular applications really fast. Angular JS 1.x at that time, and I had to work on something related to Java, and I needed to create one endpoint similar to existing endpoint that was already created, and it took me 2 days to actually implement one single endpoint. So whenever you start something new, obviously it's going to take time. So don't have false expectations, so to say. You should know that it's going to take time, and you should be okay with that. Okay, so we are here in the dist. Let's check the server configuration. So we are going to say stop or pm2 stop backend. You're gonna say pm2 delete backend, and let's then run pm2 start main.js name backend. Okay, so we should have the front end correct now and the backend correct now as well. So we're gonna start refreshing. All right, so here you see that the service is unavailable. That is because the server is probably starting. So we're gonna do pm2 logs. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the server is running fine. The backend looks like this. So if I go back, do a hard reload, now we have the data, right? So this is coming from the backend, then we make a front end call as well. So now we're going to do a whole end-to-end flow of the application just to make sure everything works. So we add 2 times this as well. Let's actually clear the card first. So we're going to clear the card, go back to shopping, 2, 2, 3, wait, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Okay. All right. So we got all these values here now. Okay. You see all of them. Now we proceed to checkout. Now we pay with Stripe. This should take us to the Stripe screen. As you can see right here. Now, if I click back, it should take us back to the production URL and not localhost. Let's see if this works fine. Good. So it takes us here. Previously, it was taking us to localhost 4000 or localhost 4000 or 4200, which was in the env variable. So now the env variable is correct, which means that this works fine. Nice. Now I can go back to checkout, pay with Stripe, and if I do success, it would also take me to the successful page. So I think I have actually everything ready to actually record this part of the video, which is about deploying the application to production. So we'll do that. I also have to review I also have to review the videos from the editor as well. But I think a lot of people would probably be because I think a lot of you have this as the last takrat as well. So I'll cut you loose. You can spend time in a better manner rather than watching this. Before we log off, let's should we look into how many people have enrolled into the React.js course? I think we got like more than 200 instructor. Yeah, I think we got like 145 this month, but what does it look like in terms of numbers? By the way, this course is still valid for 14 days if you want to redeem it. Those of you who can screenshot it, of course. Let's see. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, let's have a look. Yeah, so here we got 213 students. So we crossed 200 recently. And we've gotten more than 22 ratings, like 10% of them at least. And that evaluates to, ooh, what is this? 10 codes found. Apply coupon. Let's see if I can find good coupons for my own course. Interesting. It's actually trying all the coupons behind the scenes. Interesting. All right, keep learning. Let's see if this is. You already have the best price. There are no additional savings on your order. Okay. So the best price is essentially this 39.99. Interesting. Anyways. Omar says, sir, for those who cannot afford and don't have any job, how should they learn? Actually, some things are not very easy. But I think it really depends, like how you see this. The reality is that you have gone to school, you've gone to college, you've gone and paid all of obviously your fees as well. That's learning. So when it comes to programming and courses, I think it's the same. I don't know why do we see them differently. It's like an investment. So it's not a cost or a liability. You're actually, if you try to buy a book or a course or go for a premium membership for anything like Udemy, then you're essentially investing in your career, and then you learn from it. Otherwise, you have a lot of resources on YouTube, so you can essentially just search things on YouTube, or you have Medium articles as well. So I think it depends from person to person. But if you're asking, if you are saying that you don't really, so there are two things. You either don't really have the money to invest, in yourself or your career, or you don't want to. If you don't want to, you can just go and see from YouTube. If you if you have no money, then I think it's better to reach out to the course creator and just tell them, and then see if they can provide you access. The reality still is that it's still an investment, and if and in reality, to be honest, if you spend some money in buying something like a course or a book, then it's very likely that you're going to follow it. A lot of the times, people usually don't even follow the course completely. So they buy and then they just leave it be there. So I think it, from a realistic perspective as well, I think it's important that you buy it or you try buying it and see if you actually follow through the course as well, because you will find people having a lot of YouTube videos, etc., sitting in their watch for later sort of list, and they never finish it. But again, I think it depends. Alrighty. So we have our application done. I think what I'll do now is just before I end the stream, we'll also look into the PR from one of my other projects as well. We'll look in and see if everything works there as it should. Because my brother has been working on this one. What files changed? So we have if session date, okay. Then we have the session started block, good. If we have the session date, then we show the icon, good. If we have session.date, then we show this, good. Okay, so we have row.date. Otherwise, we have the existing date, or we show a dash. Good, this makes sense. I think we can just merge this. Looks good. Let's merge this. By the way, how many of you know what vibe coding is? Can I get some thumbs ups? Assalamu alaikum, Asan bhai, what's up? Wa alaikum assalam, Zishan, Elia. Everything's good. How about you? How about yourself? How's it going? So I'm going to show you the issue that we had that Mohsin just fixed. The issue that he fixed was this. Here you can see session is started, but there's no date. This was supposed to be the session date, which we don't have here. If I go back and back, and if I go to the public page here, you will see here we also have like test meetup. We have a date here, doesn't show when. This doesn't show when. So all these icons were an issue. So that's what Mohsin fixed now. And I think this would be deploying right now. Let's have a look at Netlify. Zishan says, I have learned already React.js and now I wish to move to MERN-stack. Okay. Give me 1 second, sorry. I'm going to customize it to be here so I can still see the chat. So yes, question is, I've learned already React.js, now I wish to move to MERN-stack. Now tell me, that's this journey, how much it takes time. It depends on from person to person. There's no concrete answer like 1 month, 2 month, 3 month. It depends on how much time do you spend on all of this. And then also it depends on what do you do during those times. So if you start building a lot of applications and you look from one, you start working on small grade applications, then you're going to learn things about small grade applications. If you build a large scale application, just like for example pulse checker, this has a lot of things in it. You create projects, every project has sessions, each session can be responded. So for example, if I copy this URL here and if I go and paste here, now a lot of people can actually give feedback to this session or this tech or this event or whatever this is. So there's a whole mechanism of providing a feedback. Then you also have links here as well, the course link here as well. So all of these things take a lot of time. So you have a concept of projects, sessions, attendees giving feedback. So those feedbacks, questions that you see on the screen. So each question is a bit different. The criteria for each question is a bit different as well. For example, this is a comment, so this is text. This is a rating question, so it's from 1 to 5, but you could have 1 to 10 as well. Similarly, you could have different kind of questions like MCQs. So building a lot of this takes a lot of time. So it depends on where do you want to land at the end of what your expectation is. So there's no concrete answer to this, but I can definitely say that if you want to be an expert in Munstag, it would not take you less than 6 to 8 months at least, provided you're working and you're learning every day and you're essentially implementing what you're learning every day as well. So I would say take at least 6 to 8 months. And to be safe, I would just go towards at least a year. So at least 6 to 8 months. But if you want to be safe, I would say at least 1 year. All right, so we got a published version now, which means that if I try to go to projects now and open a public URL, I won't see the calendar icon. There we go. So that's what Mosin fixed. So now we don't see the calendar icon if a session doesn't really have a date. Let's try creating a session that has a date. And I also want to see what happens when I edit one of these. So if I go to default project, and this is something that neither me nor Mohsin has discussed so far. So if I go and edit it, does it crash or does it work fine? Okay, so when it comes here, it automatically sets the date to the current date, which is okay, I would say, because we would have to do it anyways. And I just realized we don't have a way of going back from here. So there should be like a back button here as well. Anyways, we're going to add a back button there as well. And the when here is empty, as you can see. So let's create a dummy session actually, or let's update the dummy session here. We're gonna go and edit the date. Let's call it in in 2026, April 1st. The time can be, I don't know, 10 a.m. Okay, so we set this to 10 a.m. Then we go and do save session. I also realized that this button should probably look a bit different because of the other buttons here. So let's try to do that. Save session, report new. And now if I look at the date here, you can see we have the date here, 10 a.m. And that means if I go to my projects page now, default project, I should be able to see the date on the dummy session. So here we have the dummy session, and that's April 1, 2026. Good. I think this is good. And if you scan this page, you're going to go directly to the link or to the link to give the feedback. So that's what we wanted. Awesome. How long has it been for us for being live? I think 44 minutes. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the stream right here. I'm going to go and implement this part of the tutorial. And just before going, I can take the last questions. Give me a second. I'm going to be right back. Uh, Homer says, "Sir, which technology to learn in order to avoid JavaScript? Its libraries and frameworks, and it is recommended." I think you can learn Python as an alternate to JavaScript. You have good ecosystem of libraries and sort of frameworks in Python as well. But the interesting thing is that you probably will never be able to avoid JavaScript. You're probably going to use it in some way as well. Ibrahim says Counter Strike session when time जो है वो थोड़ा कम है. So I'm not really sure when we can have that, to be honest. It's gonna be a rough time ahead because I have to finish writing a book as well, and then I have also these tutorials. So yeah, not really sure. Maybe there comes a point जहाँ पे I have a lot of time again, apart from my time with my family, of course. But we're not there yet. Umar says, "Sir, what about .NET or Java? I heard there's an alternative for JS in .NET." I don't think so, no. There's no alternative to JavaScript, to be honest. I think uh, depending on where you want to run your application. If you're talking about anything that is related to web dev, which means that that's supposed to be running on a browser, then that means you will have JavaScript there in one way or the other. You could have JavaScript, you could have WebAssembly there. But I think if you're trying to go with something easier, then I think, yeah, JavaScript would be it. All right, I think we can close this. I'm gonna start recording the video, and what I'm going to also try to do, inshallah, is to have, and there goes my camera, which is also an indication that I should go. So what I'm going to also do is we are going to make what you call a predictable streaming schedule, so you guys know when I'm going to be online. We can also have like some sort of sessions like meetups, weekly meetups, monthly meetups. We'll see. We'll figure those out. Zishan says, "I like context API, but my question relates to market trends. Which is the best option for mastering from both Redux Toolkit or context API?" I would say Redux Toolkit, to be honest. You will probably use context API, but Redux Toolkit itself uses context API behind the scenes. Redux is widely sort of adopted as well. So if you switch from one team to another, you know how Redux works or how Redux Toolkit works. So I would say Redux Toolkit, since it's already a bit better. It has some different concepts as well that makes things easier as well. So it's also maintainable as well if the team, if the developers code it correctly, so to say. So I hope that answers the question. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. As always, happy coding. I'm going to see you next time. And Eid Mubarak in advance to everyone. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.